Hey there. Ready to dive into something fascinating with me today?
I'm ready.
We're going to be exploring holistic well-being
Okay.
through the lens of Islamic practices.
Sounds fascinating.
And I'm really excited to unpack some interesting excerpts
Yeah.
from Islamic Practices for Mental Well-Being
Okay.
by Dr. Amjad Daoud.
I'm excited to hear more about this.
Yeah, what really struck me about Dr. Daoud's work
Yeah.
is the way that he blends these ancient traditions with, cutting-edge scientific research.
Interesting.
It's like he's bridging this gap between,
Yeah.
wisdom that's been around for centuries
Right.
and our modern understanding of
Yeah.
how our minds and bodies work.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. And, this deep dive couldn't be timelier, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels like
Or does.
everywhere you turn,
Yeah.
there's another news story about the mental health crisis.
It's true. The
Like
World
some-
Health Organization actually estimates that 1 in 4 people globally will experience a mental health disorder at some point in their life.
That's
That's a staggering statistic.
it's mind-blowing, right?
It is.
Yeah, and Dr. Daoud,
Yeah.
he really digs into how these unique pressures
Okay.
of modern life
Yeah.
play a huge role in this crisis.
Mm,
And it's not even just the big stuff.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the little things.
Exactly. Think about it. We're
You know?
constantly bombarded with information, glued to our devices,
Totally.
comparing ourselves to others on social media,
Oh my gosh.
all while dealing with economic uncertainty
Ugh, it's true.
and climate change.
Yes, yes.
It's no wonder so many people are feeling overwhelmed and burnt out.
It's like we're juggling chainsaws while walking a tightrope.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
And what I find really fascinating
Yeah.
is that Dr. Daoud, he points to holistic well-being as a powerful antidote to this.
Absolutely.
All of this stuff, this
Yeah.
craziness.
Holistic health recognizes that our minds,
Yeah.
bodies, and spirits are
Oh.
completely interconnected. It challenges that old way of thinking
Yeah, yeah.
where we treat them as separate
Separate.
entities.
Yeah, it's like that saying,
Separate.
you can't have a healthy mind without a healthy body.
Exactly.
But Dr. Daoud really takes it a step further.
He does. He doesn't just state it.
He gives
He gives specific
examples.
examples.
Yeah.
For instance, he talks about how chronic stress
Oh, interesting.
can manifest as physical symptoms
Right.
like headaches,
Oh, yeah.
digestive issues, and even a weakened immune system.
Right, right.
And on the flip side,
Yeah.
physical health challenges
Oh, yeah, totally.
can really impact your mental and emotional well-being.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like this constant...
It's a feedback loop.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
So if we're feeling, mentally drained,
Yeah.
our bodies might start sending up these red flags like, hey,
Exactly.
pay attention, and vice versa.
Mm.
And that's where these practices that he talks about, like
Yeah.
mindfulness and breath work,
Right.
come into play.
Yeah, exactly. They act as bridges,
Okay.
helping to harmonize that mind-body connection
I see.
and bring things back into balance.
Okay, so speaking of balance,
Okay.
Dr. Daoud talks about this concept of emotional intelligence, or EQ.
Right.
Have you heard of that?
I have, yeah.
I had heard the term before,
Yeah.
but after reading his perspective,
Right.
I realized it's more than just
Right.
a buzzword.
Yeah, it's much deeper than that.
It's actually really
But-
important for life.
Dr. Daoud breaks it down in a way
Yeah.
that makes you realize how crucial EQ is
Yeah.
for navigating pretty much
So-
everything in life.
Okay, so before we go any further,
Okay.
what exactly as emotional intelligence,
Right.
for those of us who need a little refresher?
Yeah, so in a nutshell,
Yeah.
emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotion and the emotions of others.
Okay.
It's about being aware of how emotions impact
Okay.
your thoughts and behaviors and using that awareness to build stronger relationships,
Great.
communicate more effectively, and make sound decisions even under pressure.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. So it's not about
It's not about suppressing
emotions,
but it's about
understanding them
understanding them
and using them
and using them constructively.
constructively.
It's like
yeah.
instead of letting your emotions drive the car,
Yeah.
you're in the driver's seat,
You're in the driver's seat.
navigating consciously.
That's a great analogy.
You get it.
You got it.
And Dr. Daoud explains how developing a high EQ can lead to
Yeah.
a whole cascade of benefits.
It does.
Like,
Well, for starters,
What?
higher EQ is linked to lower stress levels,
Okay.
stronger and more fulfilling relationships,
That's awesome.
improved decision-making skills,
Mm-hmm.
and even greater success in your career.
Really?
Yeah. Who wouldn't want a piece of that?
Sign me up.
Right.
All of the above, please.
Yeah.
So how do we actually cultivate this so-called superpower of EQ?
Right.
Because it sounds like something we could all use.
You could all more of them.
Use a little more of that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Dowd breaks EQ down into 5
Okay.
key components.
Mm-hmm.
Self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation,
Okay.
empathy,
Okay.
and social skills.
Gotcha.
Each one plays a crucial role in building a strong emotional foundation.
Okay. So let's
Let's unpack these components a bit.
yeah.
Self-awareness sounds
Right.
pretty straightforward,
Mhm.
but I imagine it goes
Yeah.
deeper than just knowing what you're feeling.
It's about being able to identify and understand your
Yeah.
emotions as they arise.
Right.
It's also about recognizing
Okay.
your own strengths and weaknesses
Mm-hmm.
and how your emotions might influence
Okay.
your thoughts and behaviors.
So it's like having this internal radar system
Right.
that's constantly
Yeah.
scanning for
Recognize.
emotional signals
Mm-hmm.
and giving you valuable information about yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
And once you have that self-awareness,
Okay.
you can start to develop self-regulation,
Okay.
which is the next key component.
So if self-awareness is about
Okay.
hitting the pause button
Yes.
and recognizing how we're feeling,
Yeah,
then self-regulation is about
it is.
choosing how we respond.
You got it.
Right.
It's about managing your emotions. Okay.
In a healthy and constructive way.
Okay.
Instead of blowing up at your coworker
Right.
when they drop the ball on a project,
Yeah.
you can take a few deep breaths,
Right.
acknowledge your frustration,
Mm-hmm.
and then address the situation
Yeah.
calmly and professionally.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I imagine that,
And it ties into
it ties into the next component,
next component.
motivation.
Motivation, right.
Because if we can manage our emotions effectively,
Exactly.
we're more likely to,
Yes.
stay motivated.
And achieve our goals.
Precisely.
Right.
Dr. Dowd emphasizes that motivation is
Yeah.
a key driver in this self-engineering process.
Okay.
And it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If you're constantly battling
Right.
overwhelming emotions,
Mm-hmm.
it's much harder to find the drive and focus you need
Yeah.
to pursue your passions and achieve your goals.
It's true. It's true.
Right.
But it's not all about us.
But it's not all about us.
Right.
Yeah.
Empathy plays a huge role in EQ as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Empathy is all about understanding
Okay.
and sharing the feelings of others.
Okay.
It's about stepping outside of your own perspective
All right.
and trying to see the world through their eyes.
Which can be tough sometimes,
It can be tough.
especially in a world where we're often
Yeah.
so focused on
Yes.
our own stuff.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but developing empathy is crucial for
Right.
building strong and meaningful connections
Yeah.
with others.
That's a good point.
It allows us to communicate more effectively,
Right.
navigate conflict with greater sensitivity,
Mhm.
and offer genuine support
Yeah.
when someone is struggling.
It's like building bridges instead of walls.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, and that brings us to the final component
Okay.
of EQ,
Okay.
social skills.
Social skills. Okay.
Right.
So what are those?
Social skills are essentially the tools we use
Mhm.
to interact effectively with others.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Okay.
Clear communication, active listening,
Right.
conflict resolution, building rapport.
Yeah.
These are all skills that can be learned
Right.
and honed over time,
Mm-hmm.
and they're essential for navigating our social world
Totally.
with grace and confidence.
That's like having a whole toolkit
Exactly.
for building strong relationships and
It is
and creating a sense of belonging.
exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's fascinating how all of these EQ components
Mm-hmm.
are interwoven. They work together to create this incredible synergy
Right.
that can have a profound impact on our well-being.
Wow, it makes you realize that.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence isn't just
It's not just
some fluffy concept. It's like this powerful operating system
I love that.
that underpins our ability to
Get on.
thrive in life.
Thrive. And speaking of powerful tools for well-being, Dr. Dowd's insights on mindfulness
Great.
really resonated with me.
Okay.
He talks about how it's not just some new age trend,
Right.
but a practice that's deeply rooted
Yeah.
in Islamic tradition.
He connects it to the practice of dhikr, right?
Yes, dhikr.
Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely.
I have to admit, I'm not super familiar with it.
So dhikr is the practice
Okay.
of remembering Allah.
Okay.
It often involves reciting specific phrases or prayers.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also be as simple as bringing your